Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. And with that being said, I hope that you are all having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there in the world. Listen, one big thing that I personally have been addressing is the ETF Mania that has been breaking out everywhere. In yesterday's video, I told you guys January 10th, because that's the date that has been going around. Should we be looking at January 10th? Is January 10th going to be the one thing that is going to change everything? Listen, I've said it multiple times in the past. A lot of these dates are big nothing events. You need to be aware and you need to understand that when these big players are giving you guys dates, when we're seeing it all over mainstream media, 9 times out of 10, it is to manipulate you. These ETFs, we don't know when they're going to be approved, right? We just know that it's going to be at a time when we least expect it. Will it be a top signal? Will it be the signal that is the end of the bull run? I don't necessarily think so. I actually think that we're going to get the ETF approval. I think the market's going to surge a little bit more. And then what we are going to see is more discussions and talks about more ETF approvals right around the top. And I think that that's going to solidify it. Now, I could be wrong, but we have to play the market how we look at the market. But here we have from Income Sharks, unpopular opinion. I still think we are being played by BlackRock and those pushing for an ETF. We are saying the most likely scenario is big money is on our side and crypto Twitter will get to use institutions as exit liquidity. I expect a lot more using these ETFs to short. Now, it's not saying to short the market with these ETFs, but think about how logical this statement actually is, right? So the big institutions are telling us, hey, this is when an ETF is going to get approved, or around this time is when an ETF is going to get approved. Remember who these players are. We're talking about BlackRock here, one of the largest, if not the largest asset manager out there. And they're giving us a date for an ETF. And now we get to use institutions as exit liquidity. I mean, since when was that a thing? And what do you see? Depending on how you view this, Bitcoin could even pump much higher to benefit BlackRock and institutions. They'll make money on the way up and the way down. Many just seem to forget the fact that shorting ETFs is a big part of their game. Now, again, when we look into this, in my opinion, the ETFs are the door that opens for the herd to be slaughtered. I think that we are going to see the retail sector FOMO in on these ETFs just for them to be utilized as exit liquidity, like we have seen multiple times in the past. The ETFs could definitely be fuel, but I'm looking at them as more as a manipulation tactic more than anything. And they've already started to manipulate the market. But here we have from Charles Gasparino. Again, you guys probably know this individual, right? Especially around the XRP community. But nonetheless, we do see Scoop. The SEC Gov is having what's described as a rare joint conference call with prospective spot Bitcoin ETF filers as it closely watched decision looms on whether to give these COs, aka companies, the green light to sell to small investors access to crypto. Fox Business reported yesterday the decision is coming by January 10th, story developing. And we have over here that same date. I already shared with you guys this video. This is Mike Novogratz, Galaxy Digital CEO, says a spot Bitcoin ETF will be approved before January 10th. So sometime from now until January 10th, we might see an ETF approved. We might not. We don't know. But we shouldn't be looking for dates. Play the market how the market plays. Don't get played by the market makers. Over here we have from Eleanor Tourette. Double scoop. Sources that were on the call tell me it was to do with making sure everyone is doing cash creates. The SEC Gov asked issuers to remove all hints of in-kind redemptions from their filings. Now, what does this mean? Well, we have her over here actually responding back to Moon Lambo. Haha, it means that the issuers have to convert their Bitcoin to cash before trading shares of the ETF. In other words, they can't use Bitcoin to purchase or redeem the shares. The SEC does not currently allow BDs to trade in Bitcoin. Here's our article from yesterday. So this is actually a pretty big move, and it's something to really look into. But again, are we about to see all of the ETFs approved all at once? I mean, that would be pretty crazy, but I don't necessarily think that that's going to be the case. I think that they're just preparing this. I think that they're allowing all those ETF filers to get ready for this. And be ready and be prepared and also be under compliance. But I will say this. I do think that things are definitely getting interesting around these ETFs. We've already seen a few ETFs approved in the past. But again, most of those are around futures. This is spot Bitcoin. So this is definitely something interesting and it could change the market. But I don't necessarily think that this is going to push Bitcoin to $500,000 or anything ridiculous like that we have been seeing. But also beyond this, we also see over here from CEO at VanEck. And if you guys did miss it, I mean, this is pretty interesting. So going all the way back to December 8th, we've seen VanEck submit their S1 amendment for their spot Bitcoin ETF. They've been trying to launch this thing for so many years that it's amendment number 5 for them. And yeah, I mean, like this could drag on for a while. But here we have from Chad Steingraber, he's actually posting it. VanEck has updated their filing to spot, and the ticker will be HODL. How comical is this? I mean, think about how ridiculous this is. This is what you this is what you call manipulation. This is what we talk about on what they try to do for the retail sector. They try to get them to come into the space, buy the ETFs, buy Bitcoin, HODL it while we sell and dump on you. This is ridiculous. But over here we have CEO at VanEck on regulatory risk and criticism from Jamie Dimon. Spot Bitcoin ETF. Don't throw the first stone if you're associated with the bank or any financial institution.
And critique that there's so much nefarious stuff associated with it that there's still a regulatory risk that, stymies it.
There's a lot of political risk around it, absolutely. But what I say as far as something else coming along, there's 50 million users of Bitcoin, so it's got network effects. I think it's impossible for me to imagine some other, what I call it, internet store of value that's going to get leapfrog Bitcoin. So that's number one. As far as the criminality and all that kind of stuff, listen, I don't throw the first stone if you're associated with the bank or any financial institution that's never been involved with criminals in one shape or another. I'll leave it at that.
Let me critique.
So there you guys have it. And again, this is more so related to the idea that, listen, these big banks, we know that they're not all clean and shiny like they say, but also at the end of the day, like these Bitcoin ETFs, Bitcoin itself, over the course of the next few years, we don't know what's going to happen, right? A lot of people think that Bitcoin's going to retain the number one spot. In my opinion, I do think that once utility matters, I think that's game over for Bitcoin and even Ethereum. I think that the utility tokens are going to rise drastically, but right now we definitely look for, what's been happening around the space. One of the big things I've been addressing and I've actually been talking about on my Twitter account is interest around crypto. Like here you guys have interest around crypto. It's practically at an all-time low. So how do they get the retail flood back in? Well, it's very simple, right? You talk to them about, hey, Bitcoin's about to go here, Bitcoin's about to go there. But then you also get something like these ETFs approved. You start getting mainstream media talking about them, especially even, the mania around ETFs. But then also, guess what? You get the advertisements running. For those that did miss it, Bitwise just recently launched an advertisement. We do see Bitwise ETFs backed by crypto specialist. We also see over here from Hashdex, your Bitcoin investment deserves a crypto-focused firm. BlackRock, who offers ETFs for every asset class under the sun, or firms actually focused on crypto smart and perhaps only approach here in order to compete. And here we have, can clearly see the approach crypto native asset managers are taking to marketing the apparently forthcoming spot Bitcoin ETFs. They're touching what I call crypto street cred. Idea is simple. Who would you rather rely on for Bitcoin research, analysis, etc.? BlackRock, who again offers ETFs for every asset class, or firms actually focused on crypto. And again, what we are actually seeing is advertisements being approved. And these advertisements that are being approved, they need SEC approvals. For an example, here we have from Chad. These are front-running the advertising because BlackRock will wait until public approval. Since they're competing, they're going to be focused on who knows crypto the best. Keep in mind, these ad campaigns need SEC approvals. You can't advertise a security product without it. And yeah, you can't. But what's crazy is we're seeing everything at a time where we also need mainstream attention to crypto. We need the crypto flood to come back in because right now interest around crypto is practically dead. Imagine what happens when we see the first ETF approval. Imagine what mainstream media is going to start pushing. Again, guys, please be aware that this entire space is going to erupt. XRP is going to erupt. Altcoins are going to go crazy. Bitcoin's going to go crazy. But remember, make sure that you are de-risking when the media hype machine is going. We have over here, XRP drops. He's actually quoting this post from Chad. Spot Bitcoin ETF, this is going to be a marketing war. I think like we have never seen. Google loosening their rules on advertising on Google because of this. And again, like I said, this, like going back to that initial statement regarding how this is all manipulation, how we're all being played by BlackRock. Yeah, I do think that we are. I think that they're trying to get the retail buzz back into crypto, back around Bitcoin, back around this entire space, just to push their bags, just so that they could dump on the retail sector like they have always done in the past. And here we have this video. It's about a 31-second long clip. Listen closely.
I said, they're all launching at the same time. So this is going to be a marketing war, I think, like we've never seen. I just saw Google loosen the rules on advertising on Google because of this. So they said that now they had some kind of a ban. Now they're loosening it. And if you are a structured fund or something, you are allowed to advertise. That I'm sure that's because BlackRock and others called them and said, we're ready to spend millions on advertising on Google. That's my guess. Like I said, they're all launching in the same.
So there you guys have it. And again, you know, I do think that a lot of this, like, yeah, sure, it's going to be a war. It's going to be crazy. We're going to start to see, you know, the rope pull, if you will. Who's going to win, right? It's tug of war of who is going to win here. Is it going to be the traditional giants that control everything, or is it going to be these players that have been fully focused on crypto for a while, right? And it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens here. But I think all of this still comes down to the end goal. What are these traditional players trying to do with these ETFs? We have been hearing the discussions. We've been hearing the talk. I mean, listen, ever since BlackRock announced that they're going to file for a spot ETF, you had Larry Fink all over mainstream media talking about it, discussing it, talking about how it's going to transcend every other asset class. It's going to be this big. It's going to be that big. You know, tokenization is going to be huge, this, that. Like, we could see the hype machine going. This entire year has been filled with discussions around, you know, what are the big players going to do? What are the big players going to do? How are they going to, you know, achieve success within this space? We've been talking about institutional adoption, interest, things like that. And now that these big players are talking about crypto, they're trying to launch crypto products. What is their end goal? Is it to control the market? Is it to get rich off of the market? Or is it simply to manipulate the general public like they have done year over year around many, you know, asset classes, including, of course, crypto? In my opinion, this is all one big, massive manipulation plan by the big players, like we have seen time and time again. We have to make sure that we are de-risking ourselves. We have to make sure that, you know, we are paying attention. We're prepared for anything. And we just need to understand market cycles, because I think that it's going to be crucial to be ahead of this, especially as we do start to see the institutions jumping in heavy. Now, could this be the biggest bull run of our lives? 100%. I do think that's going to be very big. But I do think that we also need to understand the risk. I also think that we need to make sure that we are paying ourselves. And I do think that we need to make sure that we are taking some profits off of the table. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you want free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. With that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Peace out.